So every now and then someone will get in touch and they'll say, I see you row in socks. What's all that about then? So I thought I might as well make a video about it, because I do. I row in socks. And so people ask basically why I row in socks, and then they say, I've tried to do that, but it hurts. How do we get past that? So I'm going to make a quick video just to say why and how, okay? So the why is simple. There's two reasons. The first of them is that I feel I get a much better connection to the machine when I'm in socks rather than shoes. I feel I don't quite get the sensation of knowing when my heels touch down into the foot plates to drive out from the front. And as being, I'm trying to fix a little bit of a butt scoot right now, where basically I come in and my backside scoots away from me before I get my feet down. I think that being in socks is vital to really get that sensation of pushing my feet right in and making sure I know I've got that connection in there as I drive through the stroke. So really, that's part one, is that I feel that I row better in socks than I do in shoes. Better is always a sliding scale, of course. The other thing is that I just don't want to rely on having a special pair of shoes. I don't want to ever turn up at a gym and think, oh no, I don't have my Adidas Powerlifts. How am I going to row today? I don't want to ever fly from Scotland to Boston or somewhere and turn all the way, go all that way to a competition and go, oh no, I don't have my special shoes. I'm never going to perform. It's going to blow my mind and I'll fall over because I don't have my special pair of shoes. So it means that basically I can go anywhere. As long as I've got a t-shirt, a pair of shorts and a pair of socks, I can go anywhere and I can row and I can be comfortable with what I'm doing. So when I go to the gym at lunch, I just can turn up in a normal pair of shoes or trainers, take them off, go to the rowing machine, stick them back on, and I'm done. And so there's no real worry. I don't have to fret about this special pair of lucky rowing shoes. So really that's the two things it comes down to, is that I feel I row better in socks and I don't have to rely on a pair of shoes that may throw my brain if I don't have them. But then there is the whole thing of how do you get used to rowing in socks, because there is a level of discomfort that you need to get past. Now I started doing all this because I was training for the 100-kilometer team row back in, what was it, 2016, 17 or something, and we were all doing it in socks to make the transition easier in and out of the foot strap. So I had to learn how to row in socks, and it just turned out that I went, oh crikey, actually this is a lot better for me. And really what was happening is the first time I did it, I'd lasted around about 3 or 4 minutes before going, the straps are a little bit uncomfortable, but specifically the point where the heel goes down to the heel cup, that's what kind of started to feel almost bruised from being in the heel cup the entire time. So I'd row for 3 or 4 minutes and then I'd put my shoes back on and I'd continue rowing. And then I'd come back the next day and I'd row for like 4 to 5 minutes. And then I'd put my shoes on and keep rowing. And then I'd do like 7 to 8, keep on rowing. Then I'd do like 10 to 12. And what I mean is that you'd get longer and longer in a kind of a logarithmic growth each time. So it wasn't like a steady 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute. I'd get like 1 minute and then 2, 4, 8, 15, whatever. It'd grow the length of time I was able to row for without any kind of discomfort. And once I got up to around about 15, 20 minutes that I was able to row in socks, that was it. I was pretty much good to go and I could just go straight up to an hour and there was no issue. There are things to think about though, okay, so if you are in the straps, hang on, let me get myself mixed in. See, the transition to get in and out of straps is a lot quicker. So, in the straps, if you are the type of person that comes flying really way past, so if you're set quite low in the foot stretchers and you go way past, you're coming to the front and you're really having a very high heel lift, that does put quite a lot of force onto your heels as they kind of, as the tension between the heels into that cup at the back. So if you have a big heel lift, I'd recommend trying to work on that. Maybe see if it's something to do with the fact you're oversliding, or maybe your foot stretchers are set too low and that's what's promoting that really big heel lift. Or the other one for this is posture. Sorry to throw in the posture thing, but what you find, if you have a good tilted posture, nice and powerful, hips rolled forwards, shoulders past those hips, as you come forwards, you get into a nice position and your shins are really just in that vertical state, okay, as you come in. If I tuck my tailbone, let's contract this, right? If I tuck my tailbone underneath me, hips are now rolled backwards and I'm all kind of slumped. Now I come forwards, the difference in terms of how much I can go past, you can see my heels are coming right up, the slide is almost banging off my heels, and I can see from my little monitor that my shins are going past that vertical position. So this is because I've got such a poor posture here. But when I straighten up, which I'll do on this one, and then come forwards, that doesn't happen. I'm getting into that vertical position, My heels are not coming up anywhere near as much as they were before. Let's go into that slump again, miles off. Okay, so your posture is going to be part to do why your heels come up so far. So I can make a separate video for that, to be honest. The other thing is the foot straps. Okay, so if you're in socks, you're going to look at them and think, crikey, they're going to be like guillotines for your toes. But remember, the foot straps aren't there to tug yourself forward. So when you come in and then you push, you come to the back, you finish, and if you point your toes towards the front of the machine as you finish, then you will take away that sensation of kind of stopping yourself by flicking your toes up against the straps, or worse, pulling yourself forwards with the straps. So you come back, point your toes to the front, come forwards again, and what that does is it just lets you, if I'll get the handle up, let's do this properly. So, by pointing my toes to the front of the machine as I come to the back of the stroke, it's stopping that feeling of my toes pulling against the straps. And then by getting the handle away, past my knees, and then that forwards rock over my hips of my upper body, that momentum, once the handle goes past my knees, is all that I need to take me forwards. I don't have to pull at all on the straps. And if you don't believe me, then that's me out of the straps and rowing, and I'm not falling off the back of the machine, and I'm also not beached at the back because I'm using my body's momentum to bring me forwards again. So it may well be that that's what you want to do at first, is to practice strapless rowing when you're in your socks. So the only thing you really have to think about is what's happening with your heels in those heel cups. And remember what I said, posture can be a huge part if your heels are coming up really high. If you have a good, powerful posture at the front, proper tilt with your hips and your shoulders past your hips, then you're less likely to have that massive heel rise, okay, which is adding the pressure onto your heels. And then you reduce this foot strap, I'm repeating myself, I know, but you reduce the foot strap tension. You can practice that by doing it strapless. And then when you're back in the straps, think about pointing your toes towards the front of the machine when you get to the back of the stroke, and that will ease that tension off, okay? Right, there we go. So that's why I row in socks, and that's how to try and reduce any discomfort, and then how to build up your time rowing in socks or bare feet. Like I say, it's the kind of thing that it will take you a couple of sessions. You will suffer some kind of discomfort maybe, but then after a few of them, if you have a good technique and all that kind of stuff, then you should be fine. Much like your backside really, where the first few times that you rowed for relatively long durations of time, you're like, oh, my backside is a little bit tender. But then the more you did it, the less it hurt. And then once you get up to around about 20 minutes, 30 minutes worth of rowing, that's it, you're fine. You never really kind of get that discomfort again. But again, posture's a huge thing there, where if you have a good posture and your sit bones are just pressing on one part of your glutes and they're just kind of rocking over like that, then you're not in that much discomfort. It's the kind of thing that just a little bit of a wiggle of your backside sorts. But if you have a really slumped posture, what happens is that your sit bones are grinding backwards and forwards over your glutes, like a rolling pin, squashing them. And so that's what causes your butt pain, okay? So there's a little bit of an added value here, is that if you want to reduce butt pain, have a good posture, and that then means you're just going with your sit bones instead of like a rolling pin. And if you want to reduce heel lift and any kind of discomfort with your heels, if you're rowing in socks, then make sure and have a good posture, because that way you don't have that massive heel lift, all right? Okay, I'm gonna go. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a ranty, long one, but because people have been asking, I thought I'd make this one about my wee socks. So I do hope you enjoyed it. If you like the sound of my voice, then I've got right about 300 different row along workouts up on this channel that you can row along with me while I talk to you about what the session is, give you some ideas with some kind of technique and motivational tips while we row along this session together. Yeah, and hopefully you will enjoy it, and I'll get you through a workout that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise done or completed or even thought about or cared about. So please take a look around the channel, and I will see you hopefully in one of those videos. Until then, please look after yourselves, stay safe, be well, bye bye.